a lot of my life is different now than it was like 10 years ago. And I'm like, I'm really like, wow, it's like, you know, it's all about choices. And it's like, well, what if I didn't do that? Like, you know, where would I have wound up? Where would I be? What would I be doing?
Hello, Dallas-Fort Worth. It's Regular Concert Connection, sponsored by PMC Entertainment. And yes, just for those of you that are counting the days, I quit counting. I'm still on restriction. I'm not really sure what I did this time, but I was obviously bad, and I'm stuck at home. But this week, to enjoy, we have Mr. Johnny Kelly on the show. How are you?
How's it going? How are you? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You know, it's funny. We've been kind of yapping, and I guarantee you, people are like, what do they really talk about off camera? We talk about like chores, like I got to pick up dog crap and mow my yard or something.
I did that earlier.
Oh my Lord!
I have currently,
oh my God,
6 dogs and a cat.
Do they sleep with you?
They sleep, yeah. I always fall asleep on the couch. But when my wife goes up to bed, like all the dogs come with me.
It's a parade. See ya.
Except for the greyhound.
Oh, pretty baby.
That's Mickey. Oh. Yeah, my wife is very involved with fostering.
Oh, nice.
Fostering and rescue.
Okay.
We right now we have a couple of foster fails. So dogs that were gonna be fostered, and then when they were well enough and ready for adoption, we let them go and get them adopted. A couple never left the house. They wound up staying. And
I'll send you pictures because mine are all rescues, and they might have been fosters.
Yeah.
That just
fell.
I can't let go. I'm a softie, man. I see the dogs, and then you tell me their story, and I'm on the floor crying, going, "I'll never let you go."
Yeah, there was one that we brought in. There was 7 here last week.
Oh my God!
And one, this poor thing, I don't know what happened to her or who, whatever, did this to this poor animal. This dog was in such bad shape.
Oh.
And
doing okay now, though?
No, she had to get put down on Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She was just like, she had to have been abused, and I don't know where people find that in themselves to treat an animal like that. I don't get it. Hopefully karma has a date with those people.
Mm-hmm.
And if they only feel a fraction of what this dog went through, I would be happy with that.
Not me. I want them to feel twice. I am not compassionate to people that abuse animals. Every animal I've ever owned,
it just doesn't like.
They're my babies. And for all those of you out there that are going to judge me right now, I really don't care. My dogs sleep in bed. In fact, my dogs go to bed before I do. And when I get in there, if I'm lucky, my side of the bed's been warmed up. My pillow has already been broken in. And I have to beg, maybe bring treats to get a sliver of real estate.
No big feeling. I know it.
And the smaller the dog, the more room they need. And they just...
Yeah, we have a couple of, we have the greyhound, we have a chihuahua, a chiweenie, actually 2 chihuahuas.
Oh.
Chiweenie, a shih tzu, like shih tzu chihuahua mix, something like that.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, and we're fostering a pit bull right now.
Nice.
Yeah, the pit bull's sweet. Really sweet. Like, I've always been afraid to bring a pit bull into the house, but
it's how they're raised. I believe it's all on the owner. My wife brought a boxer Rottweiler mix home. Oh, God, 12 years ago. I mean, he passed a few years ago. And when she brought him in, I'm like, oh, out. take that dog out of my house. Take it back where it came from, or so help me. And there was no way I was having that dog. And 5 minutes later, he was in my lap, like giving me kisses. And I'm like, okay. And he was an 85-pound. He thought he was a 5-pound lap dog, but he's like 85 pounds and not a mean bone in his body, except, and I'm a loud guy. I raised my voice to my wife, and he would sit between my wife and I and stare at me like, go ahead, make my day. And it just...
This Pitty is the sweetest dog probably I've encountered.
I love it.
Well, she wants to, she's only like, I think they estimated her anywhere between like 6 months and a year old. So the thing's basically, it's a pup.
Nice.
And she had a really bad skin condition. Like I think she had mange or something like that. She was thin, and all she wants to do is play with dogs.
Good.
That from the minute she wakes up, that's it. They're like watching her and the greyhound run around. They destroyed my lawn.
Yeah, you own a dog. You think you're gonna have a good lawn?
It's become a racetrack.
Yeah.
But watching them two play together, I mean, I'm waiting for one of them to get hurt.
I don't care if my yard's green and manicured. If my dogs are having fun, you know what? That means more to me than having a pretty green yard.
These guys, this dog is doing really, really well, and it was like when her coat came in and everything, she's got a gorgeous brindle coat.
Nice.
She's sweetest, really the sweet. Like I was one of those people. I was totally terrified of bringing a pit bull into the house, especially with the little dogs.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, the smallest dog. We have a dog that weighs 5 pounds. It totally bullies this pit bull. It totally. If they all knew.
Oh my God! It's always the little ones.
Incredible, yeah. The little one. She's like, she's got no teeth and a heart condition, but she thinks she's 80 pounds.
Do you find that you like animals more than people?
Oh, I found that out a long time. Very long time. I mean, I've always had pets. Going back to with my mother when we were teenagers and stuff, we had when I was a kid, we always had gerbils, hamsters, snakes, all kinds of shit like that.
Whoa! Snakes! Hold on.
Not like we had little garter snakes and stuff. There was no way my mother was going to put up with that.
Yeah, we're not having anything that might curl up and eat me for dinner. I'm not okay. But I will tell you, yes, I like most dogs better than most animals, better than a lot of people, and I judge people that way, and I'm guilty. I judge people. If you don't like animals or you mistreat animals,
there's something.
Yeah, you're not on. And if you come to my house and my dogs don't like you, sorry, I trust them.
There's a whole ritual in the house with the Chiweenie. The Chiweenie is like she's out of her mind. And we figured it out. She doesn't really like kids. I don't know why, but she's not really for children. Yeah, but like adults, they come out. We figured it out. You have to so if you walk into my house, you have to sit on my couch, and then the dog has to get right in your face, has to check you out. You have to get down. You have to be down to her level, I guess. And then she decides then, okay, you can come in the house now. But if
you can't blink.
If you don't do that, she is relentless. She will not leave you alone. She'll try to snap. She'll try to bite people. But
I want to come over, but I want to bring somebody that I know doesn't like, is scared of animals and doesn't like them, just for my entertainment value.
It's becoming like a Petco. It's getting crazy.
Oh my God. And this is why I don't get invited very many places, because I've just got a bad sense of humor.
Go anywhere. We're going to go somewhere. All right, can you come over and take care of the 6 dogs and the cat?
So owning dogs has become expensive, because every time we go on vacation, I have to call our vet, who also has a kennel, which I trust if I'm not anywhere. So whatever my vacation costs, it costs double now, because they get a vacation. Of course, they've got to have a mani-pedi, or I guess they're just called petties, and bath. And, they come back smelling better than me.
I know all about this.
Oh my Lord. So I'm just kind of curious because I know how it was here at the house. I don't play at the house anymore. I've got the studio. When you're playing drums, do they like take off or do they like, yeah?
It's a mix. One of the Chihuahuas gets a little startled by the noise. By the noise with others like Mickey, the Greyhound, he'll sit right there. He doesn't care. It doesn't bother. But like when I play now, like with the way that I have it set up in the house, not to appears, but I have like a hybrid kit in a way. Like I have a E kit. I triggered one of my kits, and I have the silent heads on it.
The mesh ones.
Yeah. So I triggered a kit doing that, and then I use the cymbals from the E kit.
Yep.
So it's not too loud, and it's like I have like I use the Logic Pro with the like a Superior drummer or slate drums, stuff like that, and I just everything it goes in through Logic. It's all MIDI, one USB cable right in, and so I'm able to create and work like that at home, and it's quiet.
Yeah. Do you have your students do that, or are they on full-blown acoustic kits?
Actually, some of them, some are on E-kits, some are on acoustic, some are just like working with a pad right now, just working basic rudiments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like with some kids, I don't encourage parents to run out and buy a kit.
Make sure they're going to stick first.
Right. You know how kids can be. It's like one day they want to play drums, next day they want to be an astronaut. And
you mean that's not normal?
Right. Then you have this this Ludwig furniture in your house collecting dust. That what do you do with it now?
Wait a second. Pick another drum line. I'm a Ludwig guy. You can't turn it into furniture.
I have a thing for old Ludwigs. I'm endorsed by Gretsch. I have two Ludwig kits and a Pearl kit.
Wait, Pearls?
Yeah.
2 Ludwigs behind me.
Yeah.
You know what? You never can have enough drum kits. In fact, I got in trouble this past weekend because I bought a new drum set, and it's one that I wanted. I think I told you about it. It was one that I really wanted. I talked to John Zug, Dallas Drums, and I'm like, I'm dying for a little 18-inch kick, a piccolo snare, and I've got cymbals and stands and whatnot. And I took my old hi-hats, my Sabian hats, and he goes, "That's all you want?" I've been dying forever to, I like to experiment, to go back to the basics. And I posted a picture on Facebook, and I was blown away at how many drummers reached out to me, and they go, "That's brilliant. That get back to basics."
Yeah, especially like when you're a gigging drummer, the last thing you want to do is haul a lot of gear around and set it up and spend all night setting it up, and then at the end of the night, nobody likes humping gear at 4:00 in the morning.
Really? Yeah. I had a roadie for a little while. I'd like to hire him back.
Out of all the bands I play with, I only have a roadie with Danzig, and it's.
Oh my Lord!
I wish. I try to scale down everything.
I don't think my bands are gonna like it if I just show up with a hi-hat, a snare, and a kick. I'll love it.
I think some of the bands I play with, I think they would like that.
They're like, "That's all you get. About time." And I just think it's fun, to mix things up. I've got big drums behind me, and it's get back to the basics, man. I'm a gigging drummer. I see drummers show up with these monster drum sets.
Yeah.
99% if they never touch. And I'm like,
yeah, more drums. I mean, for me, it's more drums, more mistakes. It's like, oh, I could try this. I could try that. And that was a terrible idea to do
that. Oh my God. Yeah. You and I are getting,
when I was younger, I played a bigger kit. I used to play, like when I first joined Type O, the first tour that I did, I had 222s, 12, 13, 16, 18, and a bunch of cymbals around and stuff, 2 Chinas, all this shit. And we weren't making any money. I think I came home with like $750 after being on tour for 6 weeks.
Oh,
yeah.
That's pretty good compared to some of the tours I've been on.
And that was we didn't really. I think we had I think we got one guy that we met on the road. He came out, stayed out with us, and then we worked. And to reskin that kit, I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I didn't have any like endorsements or anything like that. You know, band was a new band, an unknown band. So I'm basically like, you know, the equivalent of like going to Guitar Center and saying, yeah, I need 2, you know, kick drum heads, you know, like all this stuff. And I was like, I had to reskin the kit at least once a week.
Oh, wow.
I was literally breaking kick drum heads. It wasn't like I could just get away with it, or like, you know, I was breaking them and had to replace them every week.
Wow.
And I mean, we were also playing like, you know, 5, 6, 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
We were playing every night. And I couldn't, it was really expensive when I got home. Like, you know, a bunch of that $750 went to pay for the credit card bill that I had from being away, you know, for 6 weeks. And so the next tour that we had, we were going out. It was a very last minute thing. We were going out with Nine Inch Nails.
Okay.
So we were going to open up for Nine Inch Nails, like 10 or 12 shows on the West Coast. And I had my kit set up at the rehearsal studio, and I was looking at it. I was like, what don't I need?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, I had just been on tour and I was setting this thing up every night, breaking it down, packing it in the truck, and breaking shit along the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, all right, let me see. I took half the kit and left it home. I was like, you don't need that anymore. It was like all these extra symbols and everything. These are now all backups for when I get it. And that's how I went down to a 1 up, 2 down setup.
Nice.
I was like, the kind of music that we're playing and the kind of music that we were playing, you know, doesn't require me to have such an elaborate drum set. I was like, I can pull this off with this way smaller kit.
Yeah.
And then I went with the bigger sizes, but it was a smaller, you know, footprint, way less stuff to.
Yeah, when you're schlepping it, trust me, it's way better.
Oh, it's like the worst thing. And I remember you know, back, you know, when I was younger, and it was like, I lived on a second floor mother-daughter house with my mother, and like flight cases of hardware and stuff upstairs with my buddy at 5 o'clock in the morning, half drunk. And it was like
waking everyone up.
Yeah. My grandmother lived downstairs. My grandparents lived downstairs from us. And like,
oh my God.
It's like, you know, Sunday dinner together.
Oh, yeah.
You got in last night.
What are you talking about?
You keeping score? What? It's like, what are you doing up at that hour?
Waiting on you. Waiting for Hurricane Johnny to show up. Honestly, and these right here are my old SBKs. They're the kick drums on casters. So I stack it all. This is how lazy I am. I still push everything in. Like, if I don't have to carry it, are you kidding me? Oh, hell no.
And this way too, with the smaller kit, I could fit it in my car, and it's you know, I can get anywhere I need to go.
And yeah, the new one, the 2-piece, fits in the trunk of my Challenger.
See?
Oh my Lord! You know, honestly, I've been doing a 4-piece for years and years now, and I'm just accustomed to it. If you give me a bigger kit, I'll play it, but I'm just comfortable, man. I'm lazy.
Most of my kits, pretty much all of them except for one kit is, you know, 1 up, 2 down. I have an old Smoke Vista Light kit that I had picked up, and it has, you know, like 2 rack toms, 12, 13, 16, 18, 24. And,
nice.
But I've used the 12-inch once.
Yeah, see, I'm a 13, 16 guy.
Yeah, it stays home.
I could maybe be a 13, 16, 18 guy, but I'm a 13, 16 guy. I like the spread. Yeah. I think there's enough tonal difference that I like it. It works for me.
Years,
now,
years and years and years. 14, 16, 18.
And it's something we talked about with Norman. You go down and help out at the Sound Factory.
Oh yeah, Sound Foundation. Yeah,
Sound Foundation. Thank you. Sorry, I'm gonna get hate mail for that.
I met Norman like not long after I moved here.
Okay.
Actually, the whole thing with lessons and stuff, that was something my wife pushed me into doing. Because like when we moved down here, I was like, what am I going to do down here? You know, my wife set up, she's got a job and stuff like that. And I was like,
yeah.
And the band that I play with is now out of state.
Yeah.
You know, like if I
not like every weekly rehearsals.
For me to go to rehearsal now involves a flight.
Or in this day and age, you can do it virtually.
Yeah, we figure that out. But so it was like, you know, I was like, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do, you know, like, you know, for work-wise. Yeah. And her and my sister-in-law lives down here also. And
okay.
So they were like, why don't you teach? Because I taught a little bit. I taught at a school of rock in New Jersey.
Okay.
For a couple of years. And then I wound up losing my position because I was just on the road too much.
Yeah.
So that's not the worst position to be in, but
yeah, no. Good problems to have.
Yeah. And I was, you know, down here, like I knew a couple of people. I didn't know too many people. And I was like, I don't even know, like, you know, where to start on how to, you know, get it out there that I'm looking to give lessons.
Yeah.
And so my wife put something together on like one of those, like, you know, like mom's page, Frisco moms, you know, kind of thing. And then somebody from one of the newspapers picked up on it. And I did a small interview with them, and it's like, yeah, I'm like, you know, I'm teaching, you know, whatever. And I started getting some calls. And so since then, you know, I mean, it's not like I'm completely overloaded with students and stuff like that, but I have a few students a day.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fun. And then that's how I met Norman. Norman saw the article and was like, you live down here. And he was like, apparently he was a big Type O fan.
Nice.
And he was like, I have this school. He's like, I'd love for you to come here and like, you know, like do a clinic and stuff. And I was like, well, I've never done a clinic. I never did one.
First time for everything.
Yeah. So then I was like, it sounds like a good idea. I'd like to do it, but I was like, let me think about it. You know, and so I started doing some research on what involves a clinic. I went to one clinic. I went to see Nico McBrain when I was like 18 years old. And so I was like, I prepared a bunch of stuff, like, you know, some tracks with the various bands that I play with and stuff like that. And so we put it together and I did it. And I spent most of the time talking. I remember at one point in the clinic, I was like, maybe I should play a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever, you know.
Oh.
And then after that, Norman had asked me if I wanted to, you know, be an instructor at
nice.
the Sound Foundation. And I've been doing it, you know, whenever I'm home, I do it. Usually now I'm there on Saturdays.
He said something about that. He keeps saying, he said, Rick, you need to come down and hang out on a Saturday. And I'm like,
yeah, I'm usually there on Saturdays. Things have slowed down considerably COVID. Like my, you know, the Saturday schedule is like half of what it was. Some people aren't ready to, you know, mingle and, you know, be around other people yet, or, you know, whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's what Tiny was telling me. You know, he's got the boom room out in LA, and he was like, you know, it's tough. You know, there's so many bands that are moving out. I know that, you know, over at Platinum where I rehearse, you know, the rooms are still full. Yeah, I mean, yes, they're private room. I do see some folks in the hallway, but I can tell that people are more strategic about when they're going in, you know, to do their rehearsal. And, you know, I've had my room there for, I don't know, 3 going on 4 years. And, you know, it's, I like it. It's anytime you have a studio you can go to get away, it's peaceful. I love rehearsing. I mean, honestly, some people go, oh, I hate going to band practice. I love it. I love getting together with my bandmates. I have
a love-hate relationship.
Do I love to hate it, or I hate to love it?
It's necessary evil, I think.
Yeah, and it's funny because I just think it's just been a part of me. I mean, God, I've been playing drums coming up on 30 years, and it's just always, to me it's synonymous with, it's what we do. It's you know,
it's part of the package. You know, it's part of the subscription.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is, I've been asked many times to give lessons, and I've always shied away from it. I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm not a teacher. I don't know how. And
I didn't think that I would enjoy it. Like who wound up being one of my best friends, Jack Frost. He talked me into doing it. Because he was like, he was managing a school of rock. And he was like, it's like, why don't you come teach at the school? And it was like literally like it was like 15 minutes from my house.
Nice.
And I was like, I was telling him, so I don't think I have the patience to deal with children. And at this point, I have children, so I have patience with children, my own children. I don't know.
No, barely.
With someone else's children.
I might be better with someone else's kids only because I can beat the snot out of mine. I can beat the snot out of theirs.
So at first I was hesitant about it, and then I was saying to myself, all right, I'll give it a shot. And it wound up like the students really liked what I bring. Nice. And the same thing now, like with the students that I have now, it's not all like, like it's very loose,
Yeah.
I try, like one of the first things I try to tell people is like, look, this isn't like regular school or whatever. It's like, I'm not grading you. Nope. You're not being graded. You're not being judged. If you practice, great. We can move on to something else. If you don't practice, we just have to repeat what we did last week. We move at your speed. It's about you. It's not about me. And I said I don't have any expectations or anything, and so I try to make them feel comfortable in that way, that they're not obligated to have to deliver, so to speak.
Because it's not really about, I guess, it's not about you as the instructor. It's about what expectations do they have of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, what do you envision yourself being? I mean, you want to learn this drum to be a drummer. Where do you want to shake out in the mix? Do you want to be Neil? John Bonham, do you want to be, first grade? Where in the mix?
I try to sell them on the whole like the Phil Rudd approach.
Okay.
And so for some kids, it's a hard sell. They're like, oh, it's so boring. And I'm like, well, all right, play it right first, and then we'll determine whether it's boring or not.
Somebody said to me, because I've made that comment years ago about one of my bandmates. I said, that song's boring. They're like, good, that should be your best song. Like, But that's true. If it's that boring.
I remember telling one kid, I said, you went from here to here. I said, and you left all this out.
Yeah, there's not some magic finish line. I think that's the beautiful part about drums.
You come into the room and you tell me all this stuff about Danny Carey and all this other things. I was like, and that's great. I said, you can count, you understand time signatures way better than I ever could.
Yeah.
Said, but you can't play Highway to Hell right.
I grew up on like mainstream pop rock. I'm always telling people I'm a pop punk drummer. I love the pocket. I like being that heartbeat. And there's a lot of I admire watching like Stuart Copeland, one of my all-time favorites. I used to watch him, and I'm like, I can never do that ever.
Yes. I wouldn't. Like I didn't aspire to be like that kind of player.
Nope.
When I was a kid, it was one of those things like well, you play drums, kind of like Rush. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I went to go see Rush when I was like 15 years old, and I was like, this is the most boring thing I've seen. Yeah, I'd only been to a few concerts at that point, and I was like, this is really boring to me. And it was, and it's not to take away from.
Oh no!
What they do is phenomenal. I mean, and Neil Peart was one of the greatest drummers that would.
Absolutely.
But as far as like the entertainment value of it and stuff like that, for the 15-year-old me, it didn't have any entertainment value. And
you're like, can you smash the cymbals till they break?
You know what really disappointed me about it was when the drum solo came up, because that's what at the time, like, you know, tickets were like $10.50. I was like, this was where my money was going, you know, to see Neil Peart perform his drum solo live.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't wait. And here it was coming. And I was so disappointed because it was the exact same thing from Exit Stage Left. Note for note. The same thing.
Yeah, you're like, no, I wanted something different.
And I was like, it's just a song to him.
Yeah.
You know, this is the 15-year-old in me at the time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I hate this song.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's not trying to wow
Improvising.
me. He's not wowing me. He's playing a song. It's just a bunch of drum parts put together and a sequence and, you know, whatever. And I was like, what a bummer.
You're like, damn it, I could have saved my money and played the CD. Or actually, at that time, the record.
But then I'll go see Motley Crue and watch Tommy Lee like play the covers, literally cover songs, and I was like, "That's awesome."
Yeah. You know what? There's something to be said. I mean, hey, I'm guilty. I'm a tribute fan. What the hell? You know, do I miss doing originals? Yes and no. But playing stuff that you like, it's fun. They're hits. We listen to them on the radio. I mean, come on, you gotta love it.
I've always had the philosophy of like, you know, like whatever, like you know, playing drums, playing covers, whatever. I'm playing drums. It's better than swinging a hammer.
Thank you very much.
You know, if I have to make money, which I do, we all do.
Rather do it playing drums.
Am I going to do it playing drums, or am I going to do it, you know, killing myself in the heat, you know, like, you know, carrying, you know, like whatever, like, you know, like my ass to work. It was like, I'm going to go with the first off.
Yeah, I'm back and forth constantly, like day job, try to be a musician, day job, you know, and I'm a princess. I like my Caribbean vacation, so I have a real job.
Nice. Yeah. It's you know, but at the same time too, I know that like if like I was telling my wife the other day, I don't know, maybe because I'm in my 50s now or something, I've been really like looking back and like, you know, like
don't do that.
Like, you know, like looking at decisions, and it was like, maybe because I'm 50, I live in a different state now, and like, you know, a lot of my life is different now than it was like 10 years ago, and I'm like, I'm really like, wow, it's like, you know, it's all about choices, and it's like, well, what if I didn't do that? Like, you know, where would I have wound up? Where would I be? What would I be doing? You have no idea. And
but
like,
the problem with that is
with chances, and there's like, you know, like you try to weigh out the risks and it's like, it wasn't, you know, my adult life, it wasn't too risky, but at the same time, it's like, I'm in my 50s and I'm still doing this. I can't believe it. Now I live in another state, and it's like, it's just,
you know, but that's part of the adventure. I mean, my dad was in the Navy, so we lived all over the planet, literally. And I've been everywhere. And being a musician, we get to travel, you know, and I think being that it's in your DNA. But when it comes to decisions, there's always a bad monkey over my shoulder saying, "Hey, Rick, yeah, do it. You're going to get in trouble." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's do it." And, you know, so I'm not going to go back. I think the good and the bad decisions are all part of what make us who we are. And, you know, it's, you know, I'm fortunate. I feel blessed. I turned 51 here in like 2 months, and I'm blessed. Yeah. I'm in better shape than most of the guys my age. A great majority of the guys my age. I get to rock out on stage still. You know, I'm sleeping in my bed at night, except for the nights that I land on the floor. And I mean,
there's something to admire about that. Like doing those shows with Quiet Riot. While before Frankie just passed away. Yeah. But I was covering for him while he was, you know, going through treatments and stuff. Yeah. You know, and I was never acclimated to the constant, you know, fly to a show, go to the hotel, shower, go back to the airport, go to the show, back to the airport, go to the show, and then go home. And it was kind of it's different than what I've been used to. Usually, like, you know, most of my career has involved one flight, get on a
bus,
out for a month, and then take the flight at the end of it.
Yeah.
And so, like, this was kind of strange, and it was like, at the same time, like, I loved being home Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, make a pot of coffee, and instead of cream, you put Bailey's in it. There you go.
It's nice, but like that Sunday, I'm a total vegetable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it does catch up with you, and it's like, you know, kudos to the people that do that. You know, like every weekend. You know, there's a lot of artists that do that. You know, they work Thursday through Saturday. Mm-hmm.
What about our friend Rich, who does? I mean, he's on the road constantly, and he makes time to teach. And I mean, I don't think he's ever home. Man,
he's just one of those. He's one of those guys that just keeps going and going and going, and he won't stop until, you know, he probably won't stop until he's, you know, in the ground.
He won't.
You know, and
he won't.
And that's his life. That's how he knows how to function. You know, probably COVID is probably making him absolutely, you know, berserk.
Yeah, you know what? It's making a lot of us, and I think drummers fare better than most because we got therapy. Are you kidding me? Let me go play my kid. We'll deal with all this. We get our aggression out. Now, I will have to add, are you looking towards 21? Obviously, 20's a write-off. You looking at 21?
21, yeah. I mean, you know, from the looks of it, it's going to be a really busy year. So
Good.
that's exciting. And,
Good.
Because it's, you know, like I said, like, you know, like looking back on, you know, like decisions and choices and stuff. You know, the one thing that I hate about this at an older age is the hustle.
Oof. Yeah.
It's like what I used to be able to do working with one band. Now I have to work with like a half a dozen. And,
yeah.
And thank God for the, you know, with the iPhone with the little calendar in it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. Except for
on my phone. Are you kidding me?
Like, you know, like doing podcasts, which is totally different.
You know,
but I work. I can't be like, all right, let's do it on Friday. I can't.
Let me look at my phone.
I have to look at the I work on dates.
Yep.
And I know I'm going to be away from this date to this date.
Yep.
So I'm not available. I can't do anything then because I'm going to be, you know, away. And then, you know, home now, and especially now that everything has pretty much gone virtual.
Yeah.
All right, let me, you know, like in the morning, when I, you know, in the morning, I'm like, let me see what I'm doing today. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
No, you look at your phone first thing in the morning.
I have.
It tells you exactly what's on today's docket.
And like today, earlier today, like when I spoke to you this morning,
yeah,
it was the beginning of putting my week together. I was like, all right, who do I have to get in touch with? Like, you know, whatever, who do I have to do? You know, what do I have to, you know, I have to make my schedule.
That starts constantly. I'm always the immediate 7 days. Then I'm booked, you know, 30 days. I've got a vacation booked in February and in May. And so those had to be blocked out. Any personal family time has to go in immediately. I have to schedule it. And
I just did that this week. Last week, I went to move my daughter into her dorm in Florida. She's going to Tampa. And so I was like, all right, I can't do lessons. You know, I did that. And I'm in my hotel room in Tampa, and my phone rings. I'm like, oh, shit.
You know what? And thank God for the phone. Because I want to tell you, honestly, and anybody who knows me, they're going like this right now. I'm the biggest moron. I swear to God, I'm a bonehead. I screw up more. And if it wasn't for this phone that keeps me on track and the reminders, I'm telling you, I forget crap. I just go, guys, I'm honest.
I got to work on the reminders.
Oh, my God.
Because like normally, when something's coming up, I'll get a reminder.
Yeah.
with scheduling this for Sunday, I didn't get any reminder. So then I logged on and I saw your thing. Ready when you are. You know, we're ready to go. And it was already like 12:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, what the hell? And
brother, you know what? That way it was funny because
I immediately go to my calendar. I'm like, what was today?
do you know what I did? I went and crawled back into bed.
Oh,
and I slept the day away. I think we put one of our streaming Pluto or Cody or something on, and I went back to bed because we had been to a pool party the night before, so I didn't even get home till 1:30, 2, 3 in the morning. Okay. Got up at 6 because one of my dogs is diabetic, and I tell everybody this story. So she has to have insulin at 6 and 6. And me and my wife, when we found out she was diabetic, I got 6 a.m. So it doesn't matter if I get home at 4 in the morning.
You get up at 6.
I'm back up at 6 because my girl needs it. So I'm just, you know what? I live in that constant state of there's times I get sleep, and then there's times where I'm like, pour the coffee directly to my eyeballs and let's go.
Yeah, I've got a bit of that too. It's like it's a lot of time. You know what? It's like it's feast or famine.
Yeah, and I would rather have the difficulties of the hectic life that I've created. I don't complain, as opposed to sitting around twiddling my thumbs. It's
I can't complain. I ask for all of it, and you have to take the good with the bad, and it's so it's just.
And some of it, and I'm on a personal level going through some. It's a tough pill, but I created the tough pill that I'm going through, and there's a lesson there for me. I learned something, even when I'm not happy.
I tell my daughters, I'm like now they're older, so now we don't,
yeah,
a little less filtered.
Yeah.
Sometimes, one of my daughters like, oh my God, I'm going to pray for him.
Oh my Lord.
I'm like, I tell him, like, you know what? I don't have a retirement. I was like, but I've got some great stories.
No, let me tell you, because I made a post about this last week and people thought I was joking. I posted a picture of a beach and I said, full disclosure, I'm going to retire on a beach like this and open a bar. And the amount of people that reached out to me privately, folks, if you think I'm kidding, I'm turning 51. In the next 5 to 10 years, I'm already looking Costa Rica. I'm looking. I am going to buy a beach.
One of my buddies that I worked with in New York, he just moved to Costa Rica.
But here's the thing. You know what their laws say? If you create jobs, you're in like Flynn. Yeah. If you just want to go down there and get a job, it's almost impossible for expats. But if you create jobs and employ people, they love you. And I'm like,
okay, all right, yeah.
I'm doing my homework.
He works in New York State. He works in New York State, New York City, and then goes back down. And he's like, what does he do? He's a rigger.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he's in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he goes down there. He stays down there for 6 weeks, and then he goes back up.
I don't think any of us had a game plan when we got into this. Wanting to be musicians, and it's not like in our 20s where you can go live on the road and it's okay. You get older, you have a family and a mortgage, and you're like, okay, can I still do this? Or in my case, it was like, no, I got a good job.
Yeah. Like there's like the turns, the ups and downs. And
God.
It's it's one of those things. It's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. There really isn't any like
middle ground.
Normal.
What are you talking about? I'm very well adjusted.
Yeah, but I mean, you can be well adjusted, but like the whole like the ebb and flow of the whole industry. I mean, not taking 2020 out of the picture like this. This is just something.
It's a fluke, but it's still even without it. It's cyclical. Yeah. It's up and down, up and down.
And I mean, all my years, I'm like, this has to be it.
You really think?
Every year, like, and I think that, like, like every other month, I'm like, oh yeah, well, I was like, I guess that's it. Like every time I got off a tour bus, like, and I flew home.
Yeah, that's it. I'll never tour again.
The next time I have to go to Europe.
Oh my Lord!
And then
have you talked to your bandmates?
Yeah, I've been in touch with pretty much everybody. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of.
Too?
Everybody's really in a state of, I don't know. we don't know what's going on. Tours, everything, all my touring and everything it's gone. Stuff is rescheduled for next year.
And even that's it.
Is it going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody really knows, but you're working off of the premise that it is, because it's technically it's scheduled.
Yeah.
So you pretty much, like, I'm wearing a helmet and hoping for the best.
I wear a helmet, but for a completely different reason.
Crash helmet on, and
No, and that's just it.
We really don't know what's going to come of all this, and is it like just live entertainment is directly related to entertainment, like the whole recording industry, everything, because obviously now you can't earn a living just on your music. So you're working, like now, like this whole time in quarantine, I've been working on new music with bands and stuff.
Yep.
With the intention of, all right, September with Kill Devil Hill, we're going to start pre-production. The plan is to start recording in October. Now, so we're recording October. The record will be ready to be released, whatever, first quarter of 2021.
Yeah.
And so now, when it gets released, what are we looking at in terms of supporting it and promoting it? And it's all fine and dandy if you can you just get the record out, but you're not going to make anything in return to pay for all the money that just got spent, recording and manufacturing the record and the promo and all that other stuff. That budget has to come from somewhere, and how are you going to do that if not even people are going to live shows anymore? Yeah,
it's still a business.
So I lay out money, to work on a record.
Yeah, I want my money back.
I want my money back. Like, let's just put making money aside. I'd like to just get back what I
break
put
even.
Just pay the bills.
Yeah,
and you don't really know how that's going to get accomplished now. There's a lot of pressure over everything, and whatever your view is on, you can have your conspiracy theories and what, but you don't really know when you can go back to work and what work is going to be like when you can go back.
That's exactly right.
And it's a frightening thought.
I was very blessed a couple weeks ago. I got out and did my first MC work in a while. Yeah. And oh my God, it felt so good to be back I was at Gas Monkey, to be back in a club and just emceeing. And I've got some gigs coming up with my bands, and again, not knowing how do we act. I mean, is there going to be anybody, or are we going to play to some crickets? And you don't know. It's
I did the beginning of the month. I did a show with Quiet Riot in Iowa, and we played at Sturgis.
Oh, how was Sturgis?
It was cool. Yeah, there wasn't any. Weren't really sure what to expect because of how it was on the news and how it was being portrayed and stuff. I've never been there before, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. I've
never been, and I want to go.
I've seen pictures, like video of performances and stuff, and there were definitely less people there when we played, but there were still people.
Yeah, still packed.
Yeah,
and they were social distancing, right?
Well, when I social distancing, there was a motorcycle and then people.
One motorcycle length in between you.
That's
between the groups.
What was really interesting, though, that I thought was really cool was like after the show, instead of clapping, they would rev the motorcycles.
Nice! Oh, that would be greatness.
The people that had bikes there, they were like revving the motors, and then people were clapping and stuff. And but it was just it was strange to gig, you know, to play, to perform in front of people. Yeah, those first two shows, those two shows that we did, we played the first week in August, the first weekend in August in Iowa, and then we played last weekend. It was like the 15th.
Okay, yeah, no, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it was just weird, like, you know, playing live.
Now you and I are really close in age.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. I grew up. I remember when Mental Health came out. So I gotta ask. When you got the call to go, like, hey, you're gonna go sit in, you know, with Quiet Riot, were you like, childhood dream accomplished?
It was pretty weird because, like, you know, like I knew that like the way that it started. The first time I played with them was in Dallas, in Richardson, Wildflower Festival.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like I've been playing with Alex in Hookers and Blow for years.
Okay.
And so like we knew that Frankie wasn't well.
Yeah.
So I was like, you guys are playing in Texas. I was like, you know, I'll come and I'll help Frankie out. Like, you know, whatever he needs, you know, whatever. If he needs some help with anything, I can be there for him, you know, to watch over him and help him out, so that he doesn't have to do anything. All he has to do is just play.
Yeah.
And then they, like, you know, we were talking about, I was like, if something comes up, I was like, you know, if you need me to help, like, you know, whatever, if there's a gig that he can't do or whatnot, I was like, you know, if he's cool with it and you want me to do it, I was like, I'll help out. You know, I was just trying to keep the machine going and stuff while Frankie's getting treated and, you know, whatever. And then I was in New York, and then Alex calls me up 2 days before the first show. He's like, yeah, we need. I was like, okay.
I'm going to be in the studio rehearsing for the next 48 hours.
I was like, send me a set list. I was like, I'm in New York now. I was like, I'll be home the day before the show. I was like, I'm coming home like tomorrow. And I was like we'll figure it out. I'll get it done. And it was, I didn't get to play or anything. I literally, like, you know, just got the set list. It was just like
memorizing.
Yeah. And then we were playing with Rat at the Wildflower thing. And he was like, what's in the trailer? I get there, right? I drove there, right? And I get there, right? The rest of the band is in the trailer. And I'm like, this was a really bad idea. I don't know what made me think that this was going to be a good idea, but this is a terrible idea.
But it's going to be great. Oh my God.
I couldn't believe we got through the show.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but we got through it.
But that's because you're a professional. You've been doing it enough years that, I mean, you know what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, some of these songs, I hadn't heard them in years.
Okay, now that's a true statement. That's a true statement.
I hadn't heard those songs in years, except for, like, you know, like what they play on the radio.
Yeah.
And I mean, but like you were saying, one of the first band I ever played in, we played Mental Health.
Yeah.
You know, it was the first band I ever played in. And like that record was the biggest thing then. They were the, you know, they went to number one. It was everywhere. They were the biggest band in the country.
And I never got to see them.
I did. I saw them open that year. I saw them in '83 open up for Black Sabbath.
My first concert was Men at Work.
Okay.
My second concert was Bon Jovi opening up for Rat, the 7800 Fahrenheit tour, Out of the Cellar.
Yeah. That's what I saw. I had my friend, right? Not to cut you off, this is funny. One of my friends growing up, but in high school, wanted to go see that show so bad. They were playing in New Jersey, and he's like, come with me. I really want to go. I was like, dude, I don't want to go see Rat and Bon Jovi. I don't want to go. Come on, I'll pay for the tickets, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't want to go. Right? That was like in 85, something like that. 84, 85. I was like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to go. He's like, what's it going to take to make you go? And he was wearing a Metallica shirt. I was like, give me a shirt and buy the ticket. He took the shirt off and gave it, here you go. And we went. I saw
Do you still have that T-shirt?
No, I don't. But it was the Metallica, the Metal Up Your Ass shirt.
Yeah.
was like, give me that shirt and I'll go.
Don't you wish you had it now and you put it in one of those clear plastic boxes and put it on the wall? My third concert was Scorpions. And I don't even remember who opened for him because we got there late. But I got to see him.
Was that, what's the record with Rock You Like a Hurricane on it?
Yes. I don't even know what tour it was. I just remember because I like that song, Rock You Like a Hurricane. And,
I saw that they played Madison Square Garden. Bon Jovi opened up for them at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was on his first record. I don't know if it was a tour or anything, but at the time, like, you know, Bon Jovi was starting to get popular, at least in New York.
Oh, no. They were getting popular everywhere.
Yeah. And, I had, up until just a couple of years ago, I had never seen Bon Jovi as a headliner.
Really?
I had only seen him before that. Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because you think back, I just found a photo album full of concert tickets. I must have thousands of concert tickets from all the shows, not just nationals, but like local bands. And I'm a pack rat. I keep them.
I'm trying to let go of some stuff, and I threw out a bunch of my ticket stubs like a few years back.
It's coming, I know.
I don't feel a loss. I'm okay with it.
You know what? It's funny because I got the memories, and I've been very fortunate. I've met a lot of really cool musicians in my life, and I've never once asked for an autograph. And the reason I never did is, for me, it was always, I would rather have the experiences and the memories than a superficial piece of paper. That's me.
Yes.
That's not true. I do have autographs. There are drumsticks.
I have Joan Jett's.
Oh.
Joan Jett.
Royalty, though.
Joan Jett did an in-store in New York City in the 80s, you know, early 80s. And I went in, I was like, Joan Jett, got to get it.
Yeah.
Got to get it. Yeah. And then I have Brian Johnson from AC/DC.
Wow.
But I used to work at a rehearsal studio in Brooklyn when I was like right out of high school and stuff. And the owner of the studio was really good friends with Brian Johnson. So right, it's kind of a cool story, especially like, you know, like when you're 18 years old. Like,
heck yeah.
And so Brian Johnson comes to New York for whatever, and he's hanging out. And right, I had just gotten my driver's license, and I had a Beetle, I had a Bug, and I didn't drink, so I was basically designated driver while my boss and Brian Johnson were bar hopping.
That's brilliant.
So we're at the time they were like, you know, like whatever, we're at some club, we're at like the Limelight and stuff, and like, you know, we needed something, and they're like, Johnny, go get this. I was like, all right, you know, whatever, I'll go get it. You know, basically I was the runner for the night.
Oh my Lord.
And so anyway, I asked him for an autograph, and he put down, like, you know, I remember, like, you know, writing it down, like, you know, 2 Heinekens, pack of cigarettes, you know, whatever. And he said, thanks.
Oh, that would have been a brilliant one to have.
So then we go back to his hotel room at the end of the night at the Waldorf Astoria, which I'm 18 years old.
Yeah.
He gets a phone call to his room, and it's one of Ozzy's people. And he goes, Ozzy knows you're in town. He wants to see you right now. He's at the Hard Rock Cafe. So he's like, I'm hanging out with some friends. They were like, whatever, bring him. So we're like, and he's like, well, I'm going, you know, we're going to the Hard Rock.
Okay.
2 hours now. It's like, you know, it's like it's all closed down, and it's just Ozzy with his crew, whatever. And so then Ozzy comes over, and so now I'm standing there staring at Ozzy Osbourne and Brian Johnson shaking hands and like talking to each other. And I'm like,
oh my, yeah, head explodes.
Yeah. I was like, is this really happening? You know, so, and I was, mind you, I'm 18 years old. It was so mind blowing at the time.
That's why we got into music, because
it was, you know, just the only thing I thought I was going to be like back then. I thought I'd be retired by 30.
Yeah, really?
You know, young man sport. It was like, you know, I was like, I cannot see myself playing drums at 50 years old.
Okay, so don't judge me, but when I see Sandy play, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Man, I've got to have at least another 15, 20 years in me if I take good care of myself. I don't know if I can play, like a punk drummer, but I can still throw down for a while. I'm right on.
Well, I've seen guys, like guys like Frankie, for instance, before he passed away, which is, very sad, but like, knowing how old he is and watching him play, and it was like, this is not your average, like, senior citizen, which basically he was. He was 68 years old when he died on Thursday. And guys like Tommy Aldridge. Like the guy's 70. And I mean, he's got some lines in his face and stuff like that, but he's like the epitome of great health, and he plays like a monster. He hasn't lost a step at all. These
right here, that's therapy. And I think it's the fountain of youth. My dad told me the fountain of youth is in the mind. Stay young in the mind, stay active, the body will follow suit. I tend to agree. Absolutely. I don't look, or I definitely don't act 50. And
I
think because I'm a drummer. And
a very mature, like 15-year-old.
I might not even quite be to 15 yet. I mean, we may still be talking Crunch Berries and Scooby-Doo in the morning. I'm just saying.
I'm glad my wife isn't listening to this right now.
Oh, the beautiful part, me and my wife have been together for 25 years. She never watches my show, so it doesn't matter. I mean, she's watched like one of them. She's like, I live with that crap every day.
She's pretty over it, unless I'm playing somewhere cool, and then she's like, I want to go, like, like when we played with Danzig, we played Psycho Las Vegas, and she was like, I want to go.
So, yeah, you think she's not going to go to Vegas? I mean, come on.
Right. Vegas is on the itinerary.
Yeah,
she's into that.
I will say that. Yeah, I think the wives have gotten smart. If they're going to put up with this, they're like, what are the gigs? Because I want to look at my calendar. And she's even told me, she's like, a couple of years ago when we went up to New York, she's like, I'll go shopping the whole time. I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. You're not going to come? No. She's like, I've seen this routine.
That's it.
They're not wowed by it at all. They're like, go take out the garbage.
Played on a cruise. Played on a Actors and Anchors cruise.
Oh.
Right? So bring my wife. So I had a light schedule. I wasn't playing much, but I was playing. And I was like, you gonna come down? And like, because I'm like watching her get ready for bed. I'm getting ready to go. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I got to get my 8 hours.
You're on vacation? No, you don't.
She's like, I don't care if we're on a boat. I need my 8 hours. I was like, all right. And I come stumbling into the room,
Oh.
It's like 5 a.m. Stumbling into the room, and it's like 7:01. Hey, wake up! Wake up! I got breakfast coming to the room. I'm like, you gotta let me sleep a little bit. All right, till when? Oh my God, I don't know. Like 9:30, 9:31. Come on, let's go. Let's.
Not me.
And then it was like the whole cruise. She didn't see me play at all. And like, like I'm there, whatever. I'm there with friends and stuff. They're like, where's your wife? It's like, oh, she's in bed. What? Yeah, she went to bed. They didn't like really believe that I brought my wife on the cruise.
My wife would have been at the spa the whole day, or she would have woken me up early and she would have said, I don't care that you were out all night, idiot boy. We're going up on deck. And so I would have gone up on deck and just fallen asleep in the sun on a little like a lobster. Yeah, it's
it was really funny. And then we played. I played on the Trailer Park Boys cruise.
Oh, now was that a Carnival or was that a Norwegian?
Carnival.
Actually, it was Carnival. I was gonna say Royal.
Yeah, they were. All the cruises that I played on have been Carnival.
Okay.
And that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And,
I'm a cruise ship
because it was like during the cruise, it was my birthday.
Ah.
And so like like I've done cruises without her, and I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Anytime I plan a cruise, and I want my wife to come with me.
Yeah,
it's just way too much time during the day. You know, it was like I want her with me. It's a lot more fun.
I want my partner in crime, and literally, she is my partner in crime, and we. Yeah, it doesn't matter what we do. We end up getting in trouble for something, or I do. And, you know,
I get in trouble.
Next time we're together, if you meet my wife, she asked her about our honeymoon. We got married in Vegas, spent 4 days there, then went to Cabo for a week for our honeymoon. And I tell this story. We drove up to La Paz to go see the architecture because I love seeing architecture. So we get up there. We're tired. We've been around town all day. We're in a rent-a-car. We're leaving town, stoplights out. Everybody California stops. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. California stop. Cop jumps out, pulls me over. I swear to God, I thought I was going to a Mexican jail. So after he screams at me in Spanish for a while, he finally says in perfect English, "Give me 100 pesos and you can go." So I'm scrambling like, okay, here's 100 pesos. I didn't realize I was supposed to be slick about it. So I hand it to him. He slaps my hand. He's cussing. He's walking around. Comes back with the finesse of a New York pickpocket. Takes the money. Slips me my ID, and he's like, "Drive." I'm like this for the next 3 hours back to Cabo, and I'm like, "We're not leaving the resort anymore." and I'm a Cabo. I love Cabo. Always got to go to Cabo Wabo. And I just found out, hour and a half north on the West Coast in Todos Santos is Hotel California. So when I go back down next year, I've already booked in August. I canceled 2 Cabo trips this year. Next August when I go down, I'm driving up to Todos Santos just so I can say I've been to Hotel California. I'm a music idiot. I'll do it just because I want to.
Yeah, that's the one thing my wife has always found very frustrating, and I feel for her too, because like I can't make plans like that far ahead.
Oh,
I can't.
I dream about. There's different levels.
The schedule changes so quickly.
It does.
Yeah.
And I let everybody know in advance. So like Rebel Yell, the Billy Idol tribute I'm in, they actually had to bring in a backup drummer for me because I was on a cruise. And I got off the cruise, and like a week and a half later, they shut the country. You know, this is back in February. They shut the world down because of COVID. I'm on the Caribbean going, yeah, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, dumbass. I let everybody know well in advance. Like everybody knows in February and in May, I've already got vacations, and next August. But for me, because there's so much going on in my world, if I do not schedule a vacation, I will not stop. It's just fundamentally one of those things that I've just
the hustle.
Yeah, I make time.
Yeah.
So
like with Danzig and the other bands, a lot of times the summer involves like going to do festivals, and then sometimes there's always it happens like every summer where it's like, no, we're not going to Europe this summer. We're going to Europe this summer. Like so and so canceled. We got added to this festival. Now we're on this festival. This person dropped out. This, and we're adding some dates in between, and it happens every year. So it's like it's like we try to like plan something, and it's like, are you going to be home? And it's like, I don't know where I'm going to be 4 months from now. I have no idea. And it's frustrating for her. I'm used to it. As I said, it comes with your ticket. It's
it almost has to be spur of the moment. Like, hey, let's go down to Mexico for 5 days.
I have nothing to do next week.
Oh my Lord.
I have no work, whatever. Next week is totally open.
Let's go to Vegas.
And you can't. It's hard to plan a vacation, like that.
Yeah, and it's I guess in my little, I don't know how I would deal with if I was like professionally out on the road all the time, because I am me personally, I need my time to stop. No cell phone, no internet, no nothing, and my routine is literally butt in the sand, Corona in hand, and I do it for a week.
We've been able to over the years. We've been able to make a few trips work. We were able to get the kids to take the kids to Disney a few times and stuff,
Nice.
which is great. And I'm glad that we did it. And it's a great memories. We were able to go on a honeymoon. We were able to do.
Yeah, that's important.
But even that, like when I got married, I was finishing up a tour 2 days before we got married. So I came home, basically took a shower, and then went and got married.
That's the kind of stuff that can almost get you in timeout before you get married.
Yeah. God forbid the flight got canceled or something happened. It would have been a whole different story.
Amy was about to pop with Josh, and I took a gig up in Vancouver. We were in Seattle at the time. She was livid with me. She's like, "What if he comes while you're gone?" I'm like, "He's not going to come." I'm telling you, I'm lucky that I didn't just sleep in the garage for weeks because because you want to go play the gig, and it's what it is.
It is what it is. You have to go where the gig is, and a lot of times like that saying that the show must go on.
Show must go on, and it's funny. I'm going to tell you right now, when COVID hit, I got so many messages. Rick, are you going to stop doing Concert Connection? I'm like, no. Bands still have to. I mean, even local bands, maybe not nationals, but even local bands still have. It is a business. They still got to promote and keep the name out there.
Yeah,
we'll come up with a new way of doing it. I love doing these interviews, but I like doing them in person. I can't wait. But yeah. I'm still going to interview. I'm still going to do my show, and it's fun. It's a passion. I'm not going to quit.
It's like with everything that we're dealing with now. It's a different approach.
Question. So when you guys get ready to go back out on the road, will you come back on the show and tell me about all your dates?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. I'm going to make some time. I want to come down on a Saturday to the studio.
Okay.
And, I told Norman, he actually gave me the number for a couple bands, and I got with my producer, and we're actually going to drag some of the local bands on. I want them to come on and hang out.
Yeah, Norman's been pretty busy. Things are going really well with his record and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. He's a great. You know what? I adore him. He is just, and he is. Go. It's. I was born in L.A. or Long Beach, but my dad was in the Navy, so I lived all over the world. I never really got to plant my roots until I landed in Seattle. Spent 14 years there, and now I've been in Texas for 16 years. So I still admire that go-go pace, but on the other hand, I like sleeping in my bed.
I'm learning to appreciate it.
Oh, you wait. You're going to have a night. You're going to wake up on the bus, and you're going to go, Rick was right. I miss my pillow.
This is the longest I've been home straight, and I don't know how many years. Right? It's August, right? March. I was supposed to fly to New York to start a tour.
Think about it. 6 months.
I was supposed to start a tour the day after everything got canceled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like looking at the news, and I'm looking at my flight info to see if the flights were getting canceled or not. Yeah. And then I'm sitting there waiting, to hear from our agent about the tour being, is the tour happening? Is the tour not happening? Because what started happening was they started shutting down the West Coast.
Yeah.
It started shutting down first. So it's like, and the tour that we were going out supporting Monster Magnet.
Oh!
And it was going to be a cool tour. And it had the whole, like right in the middle of the tour was the whole West Coast. And the states just started shutting it down. And so then the agents are trying to scramble to try to modify the routing and stuff like that. And then finally they were like, that's it. It's not happening. And that was the day before I was supposed to fly to New York to start rehearsals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
wow.
Now I was supposed to be coming home from Europe this week. I was supposed to be in Europe with Danzig.
If you're rich, you feel good, you can drive up to Paris.
I'm sorry?
you could, if it makes you feel better, you can drive up to Paris. It's like an hour away and come back. And that way you kind of feel like you're coming home from Europe.
Yeah, now that I'm home, I'm enjoying it.
Oh, well, you know, yeah. It's when you're in the grind, it's keep your nose down and just be in the grind. But when you're home, it's
I love being home.
Yeah, I'm home.
I love being home.
Oh, Johnny, what a blast. Thank you for coming on. Please come on again.
Again, I'm really sorry about all the
Stop.
ups with, you know,
hey, the more you get to know me, the more you're like, oh my God, this is par for the course with Rick.
the more you get to know me, the more you realize how did he do that?
Oh, it's, you know, I mean, I'm a pretty go-go guy.
The one thing that I've turned around in my life as an adult is my punctuality.
But that's why they're called accidents. They're not planned. I mean, things happen. And I let go of things. Yeah. It's
as far as I thought, I had no plans, and that's why I kept forgetting.
This is even better. This is even better. Thank you for coming on and being my guest.
Dude,
you
thanks.
are always welcome. I will bug you again. In fact,
whenever you want.
I may drag you on because I know Mike Bailey was like, I want to come back on. Tiny said he would come back on. We may have to like do a big group and get rich.
You could do a a breast cancer can kick it.
I've got some things that I'm doing with them for sure. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, and again, if I can ever be of service to you, if you have, you know, some artists that you want me to yip at,
I'll keep you
my cell number.
I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Yeah. or if you decide you're going to play locally, you're like, hey,
I wish I had a gig locally.
You know what Mike Bailey said to me? He's like, how are you playing? I'm like, because I'm in a local cover tribute band. He goes, I got to go start a cover band. I'm like,
yeah.
Just saying.
I see that, like, you know, like some of the places around here, they're starting to, you know, have bands and stuff like that. I'm trying to take it all as a good sign of, you know, things hopefully are on the right track to getting back to normal again.
My Billy Idol tribute's playing this Saturday up in Lake Texoma, and then we just booked a Gas Monkey show in November. I mean, we got some. It's slowly filtering back. I mean, I've got some gigs on the book, and I'm like.
Yeah, I have some stuff in October, I think.
Locally or out of?
It's all out of town. All of it's out of town. That's all my bands. They're all out of town. I don't have any.
You know, we know enough bands. If you get the hanker and you just want to come out and sit in, I guarantee you we can make a couple calls and you're on stage one night for a few hours.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm a bad influence, man. I'm the last guy because you'll be like, why the hell did I listen to Rick? I mean,
I've dealt with way worse.
Oh, wait till I get warmed up. I promise you. My wife's always like, how are you not? I got in trouble the other day because I left and she's like, I thought you were in jail. I'm like, what? That's where your go-to is? I thought you were in jail because I disappeared? Like, just saying, things happen with me. Oh, Lord.
My wife was asking me the other day, right, because like when I'm out and like, you know, I'm running a lot of errands and stuff like that. And for me to like, you know, like to drive whatever an hour away is not, growing up in New York, that's not far.
No, everything's close. Yeah, well, you're in Texas.
Yeah, right. And then you have to go here and there. And so like we were driving around yesterday, I was like, oh yeah, I've been here, like, you know, whatever. And my wife was like, where do you go during the day? I'm out doing things.
Yeah. Just things. I can't tell you, but they're things.
But I'm into, like, you know, I've only been here 3 years, and so I'm into learning the area. You know, like very, like, you know, like having my, you know, my surroundings, like being aware of my surroundings.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's like a lot of times I'm like, oh yeah, I've been here for this, I've been here for that. And my wife's like, I've never been here ever.
Everything revolves around where is it in relation to clubs.
Like that's what because the school is like the furthest thing I have to go to. I'm living up in Aubrey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you make the trip down to Deep Ellum?
Yeah.
No, you can get anywhere then. You're good.
But that's because of my upbringing, because of living in New York. Like when we moved up here, it's like they were telling us, like, "Oh, that's really far from the city." And it's like, "Well, how far?" And they're like, "Oh, like at least about an hour." And my wife and I, we were like, "Oh, it's only an hour?
It's a road trip."
That's good.
Oh, my friend, thank you again so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dallas-Fort Worth, for tuning in again. There's another couple of minutes of your life that I have like a vampire sucked out of your brain and I'm not giving back. Tell your therapist to quit contacting me. The restraining order is still in full effect. And yes, I'm not going to pay the bill for you. If you're screwed up, you were screwed up when I got to you in the first place. Thank you for watching. If you're in a band and you are now playing again and you want me to announce it, send it to me. I think I'm at the point where I'm going to start doing, get back to, I love announcing the local shows. Give it to me. I'm going to start doing it. Or you can go to inthepitwithrick.com, download the app. On the app, you can post your bands. Promote. That's what that calendar is there for. Use the concert calendar. You can follow us. We're obviously on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Instagram. Oh, I got to think about that. Roku channel, Twitter, and we have an Amazon Fire channel. I'm losing track. I'm just flattered that you guys are watching. If there's a guest you want to see, let me know. If there's something you want me to not say, let me know. I'll say it anyway. It's okay. I'm an equal opportunist. Please stay safe while you're out there. Please go check out some local bands. Music is going to come back. Support the arts. Support music. Put down the ho-ho and the Twinkie. They've got cocktails at the bar. You'll be okay. So, again, I am Rick. This is Constant Connection. Johnny, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
And we will see you.
See you soon.
In the pit.
Yeah.